welcome to another film review here on Hyper RPG, one that we are very, very, very excited to be talking about today. I am Emma Fife.
I am Dani Fernandez.
And I'm Malika Lim.
And today we are talking about Wonder Woman.
Yay!
This is going to be a non-spoiler review, so if you guys have not seen the film, don't worry. Nothing is going to get ruined for you. But spoilers, it's a really great movie.
That's the one spoiler we're allowed to have.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Let's get the important information out there first.
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
Spoiler, it was fantastic. And I cried. Did you guys cry?
I cried literally through the whole movie.
I cried during the movie, but also during the credits when I was thinking about things that happened in the movie, I started to cry. But I saw it, I saw a screening, and then Patty Jenkins had a Q&A after.
Oh my
and
gosh.
a woman also cried at the Q&A, like standing up to say her question. And her question was actually really interesting that I just wanted to touch on, because she said, you know, I'm not really into action films. I'm not really a superhero fan. So everyone was like, what? How did you get invited to this? She's great, Milana Von Traub, but she stood up and then she just started bawling and that to me was huge because I am a huge Wonder Woman fan and I did cry. But the fact that this woman who doesn't follow comics, doesn't follow superhero films or action films, and it touched her that much is so important because that's the other side of the market that they're also trying to get.
I agree. I think that is one of the really great triumphs of the film is the fact that like it definitely does speak to a wider audience. I mean, one of the things I said going into this film was I was so excited to see a really fun period piece.
Yes,
and that's exactly what this movie was. And it was this really interesting juxtaposition of this very bleak world because it's during World War I and obviously like
Two?
I'm sorry. No, World War I.
it's one.
It's World War I.
Yeah. They look similar.
They look like similar.
Yeah.
Yes, no, this is
the movie confession.
You didn't realize you had a history test that
Right,
was going to
exactly,
happen
yes.
after this.
All I heard was the bad guys are German, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they were German and
Still relevant.
Sure. But yeah, so you know, you have this sort of very like bleak picture of war, and a lot of it is about you know Steve Trevor being a spy for the what will be the Allies basically in World War II, and so it is, and there's that awful scene in the trenches, which turns out to be absolutely fantastic.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like, so it is this very like dark world that Diana comes into, and yet she herself is very bright. And because of sort of her brightness and optimism, that brings out the best in Steve Trevor as well. And that was another one of the things that I really loved about the movie was this really great dynamic between Gal Gadot and Chris Pine, and yet he very much was supporting her film. It was still all her.
I thought it was perfect casting, beautifully casting. I know that some people were concerned about that. I thought every single person in this film, I thought that it was perfect. They were the perfect character. It also doesn't feel like any other film. Like it doesn't feel like other DC films. So whether you liked, Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad, or whether you hated it, it doesn't really matter because this doesn't feel like it. It feels like a completely different film. Patty Jenkins said, in a lot of interviews that she was heavily influenced by Superman 1, but she also said that she was influenced a lot by Indiana Jones. And I will say the action sequences are so much more grounded. They're very classic. The comedy is classic. I feel like that really helped ground the film was a lot of those action sequences.
Absolutely.
I have a question. Going into it, were you excited for the film? What did you think of the trailers? Like, I tried to wipe my slate clean and pretend I didn't see any of those things, but I wasn't that excited when I first saw the trailers.
Interesting. I was very excited. I think going into it, part of the reason that I cried through the whole movie was because I felt like I wanted so much out of it, and because it was delivering and meeting my expectations and being exactly what I wanted it to be, which was a really fun movie that was about this incredibly powerful woman whom everyone respected.
It was super fun. It was a super comedic. That was another thing. It was almost interesting that Patty Jenkins said this is like a comedy, and it was, and it worked perfectly. But when I first saw the trailer that came out during Comic-Con, I cried in my hotel room and I watched it again and again. But I cried during the film because it was so amazing to see a woman doing these things. And that's the same reason why I loved Wonder Woman to begin with. She was saying things that that women aren't supposed to say, especially back when she first came out in the 40s. It was like, holy crap, I can't believe you just said that to someone and did that. And that's what I felt like a lot of the film was. I also have to say that she's beautiful, she's fierce, she's very intelligent. Because I know some people were like, you know, they were kind of comparing, I saw a comparison to like, oh, I hope she's not like Fifth Element Leeloo Dallas. And I say she's very much more, and nothing against that character, but I feel like she's much more like Xena warrior princess
also
in this role.
a well-read scholar, right?
She's extremely intelligent
and then
speaks
like,
multiple languages.
Yeah.
So she's much more than just a weapon or a superhero.
I think that was one of the things that was so great about Gal Gadot's performance was she managed to be this very like charmingly naive young woman who'd never been outside of her perfect little island. And yet, even integrating into society, it was a good thing that she wasn't like, you know, beaten down by the wars of men.
You know, it's so funny. You say this is such a dark world, but when I first like saw the movie, actually, we saw it together and a woman screamed out in the beginning, "I've been waiting my whole life for this movie." And I was like, "Oh, that's funny," you know? And then like a third of the way into the movie, I was like, "Oh my God, I've been waiting my whole life for this movie." And I grew up watching the TV show with my sister. I've seen every episode, but I'll admit, you know what? I never like cosplayed Wonder Woman. I'm like, I'm not that tall. I'm not that big.
You're not Amazonian.
And now, I went over to get pupusas over the weekend, and outside there was a catalog, and the front cover of it was your Wonder Woman themed quinceañera. And I think that's one of the themes in the movie, which is this Wonder Woman is for everyone. And that was the first time in my life that I felt so inspired by her, and so many characters in the movie are inspired by her. And it's like, that was what really brought me to tears.
I was also impressed with the way that they integrated the Wonder Woman theme music that we heard in Batman vs. Superman, because it seemed very, like it could have been very out of place with the whole like period piece thing, but they managed to integrate it incredibly well, and it totally pumped up some of the battle themes.
I know. I mean, it was iconic, and I'm really glad that they included it as well. I did want to touch on that during Patty Jenkins' Q&A, she said, you know, when she was making this, that she didn't feel like she was directing. She didn't look at it like she was directing a woman. She just saw it as directing a hero. And I think that was crazy, because she said repeatedly, I don't, want to think of this as a female superhero film. I think of this as a superhero film. Yeah. And that's what I kind of, I feel like when you said Wonder Woman is for everyone.
Right. Wonder Woman is for everyone. It is. This film is for everyone.
And I think that intentional choice in terms of Patty Jenkins' directing style translated so well to the film, because you never get the sense that like Diana feels like, oh, I'm a woman, so the world is against me. She's just like, no, I'm going to do the right thing because I am a good person and I have to stand up for the people who can't stand up for themselves.
And just like her overall, like the Wonder Woman theme is so much a part of this film. I know that was a lot of conversations, is how is Wonder Woman's main theme going to come up? And it is so perfectly woven throughout the entire film. And we see Diana, we see a woman who believes in humanity when she really shouldn't, you guys, when she really shouldn't, but a woman who believes in the greater good, and she has this love that just emits from her that Gal was so perfectly able to do.
Yeah, she just really shines in this role. I mean, she's so passionate and charming and just brings so much love to this character. You cannot help but root for her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
She also has a lot of confidence in herself, which is the most inspiring. Because like, I think us as young women, like that's so hard to find courage in yourself. And she goes out there and she believes in herself. She's not, egotistical.
No.
She's not like this superhero. God, I'm going to come save you all. But she just is really confident and fearless. And that was so moving to me. And I just...
Yeah. And I mean, we're carrying on and on about Gal Gadot because it really is Wonder Woman's movie. The supporting cast is great.
Yes.
But she I
also feel like, in all these articles that came out, it was so much like, is Gal going to be able, is she our Wonder Woman? And I remember I tweeted the night and oh God, I'm going to cry now. I was like, this is our Wonder Woman, and it was so great that Linda Carter and everyone, you don't have to pit women against each other. This is so fantastic that Linda Carter was so much behind her and is like, yes, this is going to be our Wonder Woman. And we get to share, that she gets to share in this legacy and that we all do. Right. And I truly feel like, so much of what we see with Diana is a woman who's not used to men telling her no because she's never been around men before. Yeah. And so that really translates in the film. And I think that's probably why I cried, is that she just doesn't care. And another thing is her director doesn't care. Her director, Patty Jenkins, was like, so many people said, don't do this shot, don't do this. And she was like, I don't care. It's my film. I'm going to make it the way that I want to. And that really translated and why I think it came out so great.
Absolutely. And I think for me too, I mean, part of what was resting on this movie for me was the fact that, okay, finally we have a Wonder Woman film. We have a female-driven superhero blockbuster. But more importantly, in some ways, it's directed by a woman.
Yeah. Right.
And no woman has ever gotten the kind of budget that Patty Jenkins had for this film. And she knocked
it out of the park.
I literally cannot imagine anyone not enjoying this film. Is this a perfect film? Is this the best superhero film ever made? That's all a matter of opinion, but it's a damn fine film. And
I also feel like the message of the film is something that's going to translate and carry on past the theater.
Absolutely.
I really do. And I would love to hear you guys once you see it to let me know if you feel that way as well, because in the Q&A, another thing that came up was people were asking, is this a call to action? And I really feel, and Patty Jenkins said, yes, I feel like it is a call to action. It is a call with everything going on in the world right now. It's still relevant. This film is still relevant, even though it's set back in World War I, is Diana's love, is truly the message of love. And I feel like that has always been Wonder Woman, is that she's just better than us. She's greater than us and greater almost than humanity, that she is able to have to just spread the message of love.
And I mean, it all kind of boils down to, and this is in the trailer, so this is not spoiling anything, the moment at the beginning of the film when she decides that she needs to leave and she says to her mother, what will I be if I stay? Basically being like, I'm not doing the world any good staying here. There's bad things going on out there, and I am capable of helping these people, so I have to.
Yeah, she's literally not able to stand by and watch and watch the fall of humanity, and she has to step in. She, again, like we said, she doesn't need to, and I feel like that makes it a superhero story, is that she just cannot stand by.
Also, the first third of the film, I think, was my personal favorite because of the island,
oh
right?
Oh my God.
And like,
that was so beautiful.
I have never,
gorgeous.
I don't remember the last time I've seen a film with so many powerful, beautiful, fierce, nurturing, caring women. Like, there's this thing in the world and Hollywood, and like, as you age, your value depletes, right? And then, and I want to fight that so bad every day as I get older. And like, I've been looking for older women for me to, I'm going to grow up and be like them someday. And like that, they were so brave and they were so cool. And I'm so glad there was no strange cleavage shots. No, like strange, like, I'm serious. Like, whenever there's a female superhero, it's like, why is the camera that low and just panning at that? So I'm so glad, and yet they're so gorgeous, and they were hot too, right? But they weren't like
fierce.
They were objects. They were just warriors.
And they were all different, like, shapes and sizes and races, and they were all just so incredibly powerful. And it was this really incredible moment of seeing so many women on screen just absolutely kicking ass.
Yes, this like warrior race of women. And I agree that it really helped, kick off the film, that I felt that it was so stunning and beautiful and bright. And we got to really have this great look into her origins.
Yeah. I cried through the entire thing where she was a little girl, because she just was this really...
She's adorable.
Oh, the little girl who plays her is so good. And she's so just defiant and spunky, and I was like, oh, that's the little girl that I was.
Right? And then also, you know how they say it takes a village to raise a child?
Yeah, that's true.
And then I'm like, but to see a village of warrior women,
Yeah.
you know, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I want that childhood.
Yep. Any other things you guys want to touch on in terms of the film before we wrap things up here?
You have to go see
go see
this
it.
movie. It is solid.
No, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna cry even more the second time. I feel like maybe I'll probably notice things. You guys, there were so many moments where I couldn't breathe. I mean, I really felt like I was like I was just like gasping. It was so. I'm getting emotional again. It was so beautiful to see a woman in this fierce, powerful position. And I think obviously it is a film for everyone, but I understand why the women at my screening cried, because we haven't really gotten this. And we finally have, and it's just something to see that on the big screen.
It feels a little bit like it did the first time that you saw Rey fight with a lightsaber in Force Awakens, where you're like, yes, it is finally the time for women. And this film, it's just a breath of fresh air for the superhero franchise in general, I think. And
I think so too.
An incredibly enjoyable film. Go see it, go see it, go see it. Go see it multiple times. I'm going to see it again soon, and I cannot wait, because I feel like even all the little criticisms I had of the film were super minor, and I think upon a second viewing, they're going to totally go away. So, yeah. All right. Well, guys, hope you will go see Wonder Woman this weekend. It's absolutely incredible. We can't say enough good things about it. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you guys excited about seeing this film? And then once you see it, let us know. Tweet at us. We want to know your thoughts as well. Hopefully you guys all love it as much as we do.